going right now, and this one, as I say, going to be on step. So welcome guys to our second game in this best of 3 qualification series. It is the round of 16, and players must advance or make it through to the round of 4 in order to qualify for the main stage of the event. So Miguel, Vivi once again, and this time we have Vivi in the blue playing as the Turks, and to the east of the map in the red, we have Miguel playing as the Turks as well. Nice. Don't often see Turks that much in a 1v1. And when you do see the Turks in a 1v1, it's often on a map like Arena. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out on Steppe, which is quite an unusual map. And the reason for that is because it is a nomad start, but you do start in the position where your town center should be placed roughly. It's extremely open in the center of the map. There is not a single tree in the center here. There's extra gold, there's extra stone towards the center, there's a few deer around the edge. But all of the wood is at the edge of the map. So you're going to see, skirmishes towards the center of the map. You're going to see players trying to flank around the back, perhaps, to look for holes in the wood line. But generally speaking, players can play quite defensively towards the back of their base. And that makes for some really nice micro opportunities in the center. There's no hills. It just comes down to pure sort of control. And I really enjoy that. Also, as I said before, there are deer towards the center of the map. So it's interesting to see whether or not players will go for those guys. And another little quirk about this one is that every player starts with a horse as their scout. And what's kind of funny is that the horse actually has like a 2-tile line of sight. It's tiny. The horse doesn't see very far. The horse is very blind. Compare that to a llama that has a 4-tile line of sight. The llama has twice as much vision than a horse. You learn something new every day. Llama's eyesight twice as good as a horse's eyesight. Factual, historically, and anatomically correct gaming right here. So yeah, the players here with the llamas actually scouting around, and they're going to get a little bit of vision from that. Vivi placing his TC in a very nice position, in my opinion. It's very close to his boar. It's on the wood. He's got the gold very close by as well, and I just think this is very cozy. This is very nice. Obviously, his berries are a little more exposed, but it's certainly, very close to his TC either way. Compare that to Miguel, and you see Miguel putting his TC on the berries, which is kind of strange because obviously berries are extremely slow to gather from. This is actually blocking farms, but I think, the berries are going to be gone before he wants to put farms in the front, since it makes more sense to put farms around the back first anyway, since they're more efficient in that position. But still, I mean, it seems odd to put your TC on the berries, but I guess he can surround it with farms later on, whereas Vivi cannot put farms on this top side. They have to be on the south side. You have to put farms around his mill instead. But also, this does leave Miguel's main gold and stone quite exposed towards the front of his base, and the stone as well. In fact, everything here is like a ring of resources. He does have gold in the back, but this kind of leads me to think that Vivi could go for a tower rush kind of strategy in this game if he liked. It could be quite interesting because he could easily deny the stone from Miguel with one tower here and one tower over here somewhere, and just kind of creep his way forward. So Miguel not having the greatest start either, as his boar runs back, and his boar are a lot further away from his town center as well. They're really far out. He's got to run them back a long way. In fact, he's even done loom now because of how far away these boar are, just as I guess a safety precaution. So on the left side, we've got the second boar already in for Vivi right now. So this is really good for him. And, he could do a really fast feudal if he liked. And if you want to do a tower rush, getting a fast feudal is great. Not sure about the lumber camp position, though, because if you look, this is also blocking another farm here for Vivi. So Vivi can't put farms around here. He can't put farms here. He's just blocked another farm position with the lumber camp. But it's very, very safe, to say the least. It's completely protected by this town center. So Vivi's coming forward with a mill. Okay, I was wondering what he was going to do. He's opting not to go for the berries. He's actually milling a deer patch of 4. And if it's a deer patch of 4, mill it, that's fine. If it's a deer patch of 3, I don't think it's quite as ideal to mill a patch of 3. It's better to push them in. And I'm actually curious to know how well you can push deer with these horse. I don't know if they work very well or not. But either way, Vivi should be up to the feudal age if he wants to. Right now, I mean, he could click up and tower rush super fast, but he won't. He's just going to sit under his TC and make another villager, it seems. But there you go. Miguel losing a scout or his horse there to the TC. It's not a huge loss because of just how poor the line of sight is on the horse. And since it's just so poor, it's a pain to utilize very well. But still, I mean, it's a small loss. Miguel also out on the berries here. I mean, what? On the deer here, even. He is on the berries as well, but he's taken them at home. And Miguel, much slower to the feudal age, as Vivi is already 25% of the way up and moving across the map here to build a barracks, bringing a lot of villagers down onto the deer. And right now, he's not actually taking stone. So he's actually on the gold. He's got 2 vills on gold. Looks like we're going to see men-at-arms coming out from him potentially, since he has put a lot of villagers out here to the deer. He's actually taken all of his llama right now. And if we look at Miguel, he's actually got a couple of llama left, taking that second boar quite late, obviously slowing down his food income a little bit. But he's up to the feudal age as well. And I think, unless I'm hearing things, yeah, he has already made a barracks. He is bringing out the good old militia. And he's also mining gold out here with the 2 villas on the front. Now, this is really interesting because he's gone for this gold pile here, even though he has a gold in the back. And that then brings up the question of, well, has he scouted it? He has. And he's actually opted to put his villagers out to the left rather than in a much safer position behind his town center. He could put the mining camp here. I guess not there, actually. That would okay, that's maybe why. I mean, he could put the mining camp here and then mine from this face and actually have the gold miners super safe with a quick wall off on that side. Instead, he's putting them out in a more open position. That's a little bit risky as Vivi comes in now with his militia and looks to harass these villagers on the deer. Let's have a look at his point of view. He will see them and they're going to run away. Obviously, Loom is done. And Miguel actually going to put up a preemptive defensive watch. Oh, wait, no, that's not Miguel. That's Vivi. Okay, nice. He is building the watchtower. He is actually gathering stone as well. So I think this is a really wise move from Vivi to come in here with the towers. As I said before, trying to maybe deny the stone from Miguel and allow him to keep the pressure on with the towers here. We have got 1 defensive tower coming up from Miguel. And we'll see if Vivi goes for another tower over on this left side or on the north side, I guess. Or if he'll look to place a tower somewhere else. 4 militia out for Vivi, 3 for Miguel, but he has done that man-at-arms upgrade. And the question is, will Vivi do the same? He is on 70%, so we're going to see 4 men-at-arms versus 3. Miguel already putting up his archery ranges, though. And once again, same with last game, Vivi showing no signs of throwing those archery ranges down for now. He actually doesn't have the wood for it, and he's building more mills out in the center of the map. So securing food that way, also leaving himself very exposed, but he's the one putting the pressure on, so he's not too worried about his villagers being very far from safety out here in the middle of the map. So quick engagement, gonna go pretty well for Vivi if he stays in there, I feel. I mean, he outnumbers Miguel. Why not just stick it in and go ham? Finish him off, man. 4v3, why not? And there's the range coming down on the left-hand side. I really did expect him to put another tower up, perhaps. He can afford it, and we'll see where he decides to place that. But Miguel actually deleting his second range. Maybe he'll build it further back towards his town center. But yeah, I'm very surprised he's actually built the tower here and actually taking gold out on the front. It just seems to make more sense to me to grab some of the gold back here first. But I guess he's concerned about how blocked it is and maybe having villagers walking around. We've got Vivi also laming the deer. I don't think Miguel's going to be going for that for a while anyway. But yeah, Miguel right now, wondering why he's actually making skirmishers. Does he know that there's a range up? No, he doesn't. He's probably expecting archers from Vivi, making some skirms already, but skirms won't perform well against these men-at-arms at all. Meanwhile, Miguel is moving out across the map. He has got some vision. He can see one deer that's dead under here. He might have been better off coming down towards that, but he is going to head straight over towards the town center of Vivi here, and he's going to find the stone. So he's actually hit the jackpot. He got a little bit of stroke of luck, and he's going to try and kill, or at least harass these villagers off of the stone. Vivi can afford to build 2 towers, so he has got enough for 2 more, but these villas, very, very open, very unprotected, and Vivi just continuing to keep the pressure on at the front, killing that skirmisher. As I say, they don't perform well against the man-at-arms, and I'm wondering if he's actually going to lose a villager here. It looks like he'll keep them both alive, to be honest. And then Miguel might come up to the berries, perhaps. That could be another option for him. The rest of the villagers from Vivi are very protected. They are very safe. On the right side of the map, we've got another tower coming up. That's what I wanted to see. The tower coming up on that second stone and gold. These are good tower positions, and if Vivi can use this to kind of, you know, launch an attack, like a platform to keep Miguel sort of stuck and kept inside of his base, it's going to be really good for Vivi here. He's even taking a leaf out of Miguel's book from the last game, realizing just how strong these men-at-arms are at bringing down these ranges. And this range from Miguel is already at half health and falling rapidly as the 4 men-at-arms go to town on that. Meanwhile, Miguel back over at the stone mine, looking for another villager kill. Will he get it, or will she hop into the TC in time? I think she will. And this looks pretty good for Vivi right now, to be honest. Miguel not done a huge amount of damage with his men-at-arms so far. And if Vivi does get this range, that's 2 ranges that have been denied so far from Miguel. And Miguel's now having to commit another 175 wood to build another range in defense here. This watchtower is actually surprisingly exposed as well. If we look at Vivi's line of sight, he can see that this isn't walled up. He still has 4 men-at-arms. He could just come in here and tear down the watchtower. Instead, he's going to run headlong into Miguel's army. He's going to lose one of his men-at-arms and then back out. But I think if he came in, took this tower down, and built another tower in its position of his own, well, he knows that Miguel doesn't have access to stone here. He knows that Miguel can't build another tower. So take this tower down before Miguel has the chance to wall it up, and Vivi's going to be in a very good position. He can force the fight here. Maybe when he gets fletching, he could do that. Right now, upgrades are actually very much in favor of Miguel, since Miguel has +1/+1. Vivi doesn't have a single upgrade yet. He might not even have a blacksmith. He doesn't. So Vivi lacking those crucial upgrades on his army. And so maybe it would be a little risky to come down here and attack the tower, because if he does come down here, he will force the fight with Miguel. And Miguel will probably win it due to the upgrade advantage that he has. But another tower coming up for Vivi either way, and he's going to continue to keep the pressure on. If he can move towards these farms even, he would deny a lot of food from Miguel here as well. Miguel right now, market coming up. He's got a lot of gold in the bank. He could buy himself up to the castle edge if he wanted to. And in fact, I think he might have bought himself some stone, because he is building another tower right now. So I'm guessing he's bought himself some stone right there. 100 stone. And Vivi's going to push forward a little bit, but he knows he can't get in there. And that's a really, really crucial tower for Miguel. Absolutely necessary to buy the stone from the market. And the timing on that couldn't have been better as well. The market came up, he bought the stone, he placed the tower, and he will deny the towers from Vivi a little bit here. Sadly for Miguel, he's having to buy more. And this is not the situation you want to be in, where you're having to buy stone from the market. Looking at the stone price, it does cost 177 gold to buy 100 stone. So you're not getting a good value trade. But if it means that he can protect his farms, if it means he can protect his vital economy, it is absolutely worth it at the end of the day. On the other side of the map, we've got Miguel pushing out. He will find a villager and deny the stone income as well from Vivi here. And to be honest, it's pretty hard to call who's ahead right now. Miguel and Vivi, very similar scores. Miguel at 50 population, Vivi at 45. So maybe Vivi actually has the edge right here, as Miguel comes into the woodline once again and looks to find more villagers. So, well played by Miguel to actually make a counter-attack when he's under so much pressure at home. I know that if I was in this position, I'm sure you guys have seen me play from time to time, I would just defend. I wouldn't even have the capacity to send a counterattack out, and that's a really smart decision, because he's actually doing a lot of economic damage to Vivi over here. He's going to find another villager kill, whilst Vivi for some reason repairs his mining camp, and again on the berries, these villagers getting low, and Vivi's having to send quite a lot of his army back home here. two more villagers going down. And this is very nice for Miguel right here, as he's alleviated quite a bit of pressure with these defensive towers. We've got 2 stables coming up as Miguel clicks up to the castle age. I can only assume he did buy some food from the market. Obviously, the Turks do have the gold mining bonus, so with just 7 villagers on gold, and since he wasn't making too many units from the range, he did have quite a surplus to buy that food from. And again, nice micro here. Vivi still doesn't have fletching, so this is actually, again, really good for Miguel. With just a little bit of micro, he can focus down these expensive or more expensive units such as the archers. And you can see him singling the archers out right here. And, you know, if these two archers die now, doesn't matter. They've paid for themselves many times over. 50 pop for Miguel. Vivi on 44. He's actually dropped in population since we last checked. And with Miguel going up to the castle age now, with 2 stables coming up, with bloodlines coming in, I'm expecting to see quite a lot of aggression from Miguel once he gets to the castle age. And with Vivi having his buildings forward, with his towers forward, he doesn't actually have any defenses here. This is wide open. He's got no walls. His whole economy is basically in this selection box right here. And a few knights coming in, well, they're going to do a lot of damage, that's for sure. So Miguel already has bloodlines. I believe he's got +1 defense. With +2 defense, he's going to be unstoppable underneath this town center. He's going to do a lot of damage. Vivi, on the other hand, still not clicked up to the castle age yet. And we also have a siege workshop coming up for Miguel right here as well. So this is really, really good for Miguel. The 2 knights are going to clean up this army super quick. He could clean out the towers if he wants as well. But for now, just clean up the army. It's no problem for him. And deny more towers from coming up. Vivi could lose another couple of vills here on the front. And this is just, yeah, this is a catastrophe for him. It's GG right now. He's calling it. And that was a very quick game. Again, from Miguel there. Looking very dominant in that best of 3 series. And, I mean, it is quite brutal. 1 best of 3 and you're out of the event. And there you have it. Miguel going to actually progress into the round of 8, into round 2. Vivi dropping out, and better luck next time for him, I suppose. But congrats to Miguel. He actually looked very dominant in that series. It did seem somewhat one-sided. He did seem to be very much in control of both games. I think one thing I'd commend him for is definitely playing well under pressure in this second game. This was a very high aggression sort of play from Vivi, and Miguel kept his cool. He did a good job. And he was able to counter-attack as well at the same time. So, well done to him. So, there you go. 2-0. We'll take a quick look at these achievements before we head out of here. We can see that Miguel had many more units killed, even with a smaller army, which is always a nice thing. Resource-wise, he was well ahead in nearly every respect, apart from stone, which, bear in mind, he did buy a few hundred stone. But other than that, he was ahead by a few vills. Also, this is actually more impressive than it seems, because you might think, okay, only 4 villages advantage, but bear in mind, he actually upgraded to the castle age as well. So instead of his TC producing villages, he was researching the castle age, which Vivi never did. So he's more like 10 villages ahead, really, when you consider the castle age upgrade time as well. So yeah, well played. Miguel going to get that one 2-0. And we're going to have our second series coming up very shortly. We're going to have Backed versus Spaden coming your way next. And I know that it says 1700 for match 2. Don't worry, we're not going to actually make you wait until 5 GMT. That would be an hour and 20 minutes from now, and that would just be rude. So we're going to get the next game going very